Hello and welcome back to Privilege Check, a podcast where two girls from different backgrounds come together to unveil the reality of modern society. I'm Lavleen.
And I'm Shivangi. Today on this episode, we're going to talk about something that might be a little late to talk about, technically by chronological order, but it's something that's bugged us for a long while. And it's something that we failed to talk about it at the time, but now we're going to dedicate a whole episode to it. And it's about something that happened on 4th November, which is Diwali. And I think our listeners know what we're going to talk about, but we want to talk about the unseen side of Diwali. Like we all know, Diwali is a festival of lights, color, Lakshmi Puja, wearing new clothes, and just decorating the house full with LED lights. We all know Diwali is like that because that's what we're familiar with. But for this episode, we want to talk about the side of Diwali that, nobody likes to talk about. And this is basically going to be a very, very sort of depressing episode if you take it that way. But it's really going to be an enlightening one if you're into actually learning your privileges. So Lavleen, do you want to start about talking about what we did during Diwali, and then we can move on to like talking about the
Yeah,
topic at large.
all right. I thought you would go ahead with what you did during Diwali first.
I
And
think
I'd
yours
like,
is more eventful because you had no Diwali.
uh,
Technically.
exactly, yeah, I didn't celebrate Diwali technically. I mean, I don't celebrate Diwali, of course. I mean, all right. So I don't celebrate Diwali, and it's not a part of my culture. So it was sort of like, हाँ ठीक है दिवाली हो रही है, whatever, it doesn't matter to me, right? And it shouldn't. But it turned out that Diwali became a very crucial part of my life, apparently, during those four odd days of Diwali, whatever that was, because I could barely sleep. The number of crackers around my house that ruined my entire sleep schedule was unreal. And that's just the beginning of it. That is not the part that I have a problem with. So on the day of Diwali, I was traveling, and we were in the car and we almost killed a dog. And to everybody that knows me knows how much I love dogs. And this dog randomly came in front of the car because it lacked better judgment, because it was that much disturbed due to the amount of firecrackers that were being busted. So the dog was completely you know the dog was completely haphazard. It just couldn't understand what was going on. All right, it was scared, it was frustrated, it was anxious, it was having a breakdown because of the n number of firecrackers that were being bursted. So, and this is not a new scenario. All right, this happens every single year, wherein public service messages go out saying that please do not burst crackers because it harms the environment, it harms not just the health of human beings but animals, birds, and all of that. And it's something we listen to every year. So I went on a huge Twitter rant about this. I had a video rant as well, but I did post it because it just didn't turn out well. So we have ended up making a whole entire episode out of it. But essentially, that is how my Diwali went, wherein I had like a whole experience where I saw the unseen face of Diwali, and that's how we are here recording it today. So, Shwangi, that is how my Diwali went. Maybe you should take it forward from here.
Yeah, I genuinely, everybody who knows me, I don't think I've made this very clear how much I don't care about like dogs or like any animal. Like, I don't think I've made this clear. I don't care about animals. Uh, I love human beings. I actually don't love even human beings, but I do think much superior than them or whatever. I get hate for this, but I don't have anything for animals. I just don't. I'm not like that. So I personally like don't I didn't think much about and what the animals must be going through, honestly, because there are people in like who I know who own pets, like who own pets and who were on the forefront of these crackers. And I personally do not have any experience with how animals fared during Diwali and how crackers went. but I saw accounts of people who own pets. And I know own is a weird word, but that's really how the dynamic goes actually right now. But I saw people on Twitter as well who own pets talking about how their pets are not scared by Diwali and they actually enjoy the sound of crackers bursting, which seems very, very unbelievable to me because isn't their audio range like kind of not the same as ours? So I think what they hear is obviously amplified to what the human hearing actually registers. So I was very confused, like, and I just wanted to ask about this from you directly because you're the animal ambassador basically. You're like a whole modern Mowgli Tarzan, like you could very well live in an island if there was Wi-Fi there and full of animals. Like that's true. So I just want to understand from you basically like how did really Diwali and dogs and just animals in general were like affected by the festival?
Hmm. All right. So I did a whole research about this, or I rather attempted to, because I was very keen on understanding what is like. I did know the whole scientific factor that goes behind. Like Shivangi very rightly said, that the audio range is very different. The amount of hertz that a human hears is comparatively very different from that of a dog. And I don't know the exact amount, so I'm not going to even make an attempt of it. But it's very different, and which is why dogs are so scared of crackers. All right, specifically dogs. Other than that, birds पर तो problem hota hi hai. Like birds are very ill affected by it, but then that's not my concern because again I don't care about birds. But again, the idea is that the podcast isn't about us, right? Which is why we bring all of these things to the forefront. All right, it's the podcast isn't about us. Point is that the podcast isn't about us and about the things we care, which is why we're trying to look at varied perspectives. And to say so that animals and birds are very ill affected is an understatement. All right, the point is that I don't understand how people are going on record to say that their pets were not ill affected or they were not scared of crackers, because it's scientifically proven that it is harmful to animals. Now, and to give them the benefit of doubt, it is a possibility that their particular animal has been accustomed, or they have been conditioned, or they have been groomed into being cool with crackers, or they have they've evolved themselves into a hearing range where they are able to be calm despite the loud sound of crackers. All right, so that is one explanation to what they're saying. But otherwise, largely animals cannot at all uh, function very efficiently or go about when there are loud sounds such as crackers, of course, in this case specifically crackers, which is what we're talking about. um, the other thing that I was talking about is that a lot of pets actually have to specifically be calmed down when there are crackers and reassured that they are in a safe space and they are safe with their owners, like quote unquote owners. But yeah, that is the only way that what is being said is true. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense at all to say that, hey, my pet is not scared of crackers, they enjoy Diwali and all of that. It just feels like a Hindu agenda at this point. So yeah, what was there anything else that you were asking me, Shivangi?
No, not really. Like I
Hmm.
just want to understand like how
Hmm.
animals fare during Diwali. Like that was basically what I wanted to
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And
Very a crucial thing that I actually found out when I was like researching about all of this was, so my first research definitely was just typing into Google Diwali and dogs, hoping that I'd get to know a lot of tragic uh, events, right? But apparently there's a whole festival called Dogs Diwali, and I'm not kidding. It's like a day where a puja is done for dogs. All right. I'm not kidding. Like this is like a whole phenomena in Northeast, if I'm not wrong.
okay, like Northeast India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
right. So maybe you can look it up. Don't quote me on it, but Maybe you can look it up because it's a whole thing that's going on. That my first thing that came across was like a Diwali where you are doing a puja of dogs, and I was like, bro, isn't this like a whole irony where your actual Diwali celebration is harmful to them, but then you're going to have a whole thing where you're like, oh my god, kutta rakhwala hota hai, let's like celebrate them, all right? And ironically, again, the only place where I got legit information about the whole dogs and the Valley contrast manifestation, all of that, was Quora. That's the place where you're actually getting information about legit information and about incidents where pets were harmed, about how many dogs are killed during Diwali, about the increase in animal road accidents during Diwali when it's like the fire bursting whole thing going on, and the amount of birds that are found dead on the roads because they got into an accident with a firecracker. And the only news report I found was of 2019, which actually accounted for 19, 19.
Okay.
Which actually accounted for the tragedies that go on because of Diwali in contrast to animals. So this is like the whole thing that I came across, but there are many more aspects to Diwali and bursting crackers and everything else related to Diwali. And maybe Shivangi, you can take on what else we have in store.
Yeah. So I think first of all, I would just like to like talk about briefly about how a new Diwali has to be accommodated for dogs who are supposed to be like members of your own family, because when it comes to posting on Instagram about like like uh how dogs are and your pets are a part of your family, it's very easy to write long paragraphs, poetic paragraphs that will make everybody go oh in the comment section. But when it comes to like just kind of catering to uh the perspective of your own family member, it becomes so difficult for them. But I don't know much about the dog Diwali, and I don't know what significance dogs have in Northeast. I'm not educated about that matters. Like I don't know how much to comment on that. I would just like so let's just like cover about uh yeah. So but I'm just going to move to like talking about uh an aspect of Diwali that we're all familiar with, and I think has been a part of our conversations, about Diwali for quite some while, and that's really the thing about using crackers during Diwali, and I think it's very crackers have kind of become very synonymous to the idea that Diwali is a festival of lights, and the classic perception of Hindus primarily who quote this, but they would just basically say that go back to Ramayana when Ram came back. They celebrated with fireworks as well. And during the Diwali week, there were like artworks on Instagram on my explore page. That was basically people saying that look at how Krishna Bhagwan. I'm not supposed to say Krishna, but Krishna Bhagwan, like the god Krishna, he was also celebrating like Diwali with firecrackers in ancient painting. Questionable if those were firecrackers or not. I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm gonna get into something. But this like artwork definitely sparked a question in me, right? That can put firecrackers, like the chemicals you require for firecrackers, did that even exist in the Vedic era, whenever gods were on Earth? And the thing is that I found that a lot of historians, so it's not me making this stuff up, it's multiple historians telling us that neither in the Ramayana entire text is there ever a mention of crackers by Ram, or the thing that, there is in the Puranas, I mean, in the Puranas, there's no mention of firecrackers. Neither in the Ramayana, Ram has ever really referred to using crackers during Diwali. And it's actually very funny that, we say that firecrackers is a big part of the Hindu culture because that is a defense that people during 2021 Diwali came up with. And we'll talk about that later in detail. But the main defense really was just that, it's our culture. Firecrackers is our culture. You can't have a Diwali without firecrackers. It's our thing, our gods did it, so we're going to do it as well. But there's this author called Anand Neelkandan, who's written like apparently many novels inspired by Hindu mythology. And he said that firecrackers were actually made in China first. And for a long time, there was like no reference to firecrackers in Vedic texts. And not just that, the first proper firecracker that as we know of it today, that was when we light it on fire. That only started that was something that military had actually invented. So they wanted to use it for security purposes and not really Hindus gods inventing fireworks to celebrate Diwali and Rams coming back. So the another issue really is just that what happened in Ramayana, because people go back to it. People go back a lot of times and say that Ram Bhagwan did this, so now we are also going to do that. And the thing is that in Ramayana and in Puranic texts as well, only lamps and incense sticks were actually used to celebrate Diwali. And that's how the entire connotation of Diwali being the festival of lights comes from. It's not from fireworks. It comes from lighting diyas and lamps, and it comes from having incense sticks. And when Ram was alive, when in Ramayana, when he was alive, people would actually play the dhol and sometimes have like full on bonfires. Like that was what Diwali was for the gods that people claim to worship. And the thing is, and they don't even realize that the amount of air and noise pollution it causes right now. Because when you look at the age Ramayan was set in, population was just gods, right? It was primarily just gods, like just everywhere, right? And so it's either gods or like sages. That was like the primary thing that was a population. But we're in Kalyug right now, okay? We're in Kalyug, so our population is at its worst. I don't even need to quote figures because our listeners who are from India, even if they're not from India, we know how bad it is in India.
It's just funny watching Shivangi make all of these Hindu references. It's just so funny. She's like gods. Oh my god, this is God and some gods and all of that.
Yeah. How would you react if I told you that I actually did I have been doing Lakshmi Puja by my own for 2 years straight? I have to like read all the shlokas and do the puja. For 2 years straight, I've been doing Lakshmi Puja, but that's a whole other conversation why I do that. But yeah, so the thing that's happening right now, the thing that's so problematic about using firecrackers when population is at such a high, is that it causes, everybody knows it causes air and noise pollution. Okay, very basic things. But also the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic caused by a virus that has like this insane yearning for causing respiratory infections, and yet there is a mass population that's hell bent on causing more respiratory infections, indulging in activities that is going to impair respiratory functions of even healthy individuals, people who with no heart abnormalities or like heart uh, kind of issues, they're also suffering the brunt of what Diwali, brought forth this year. Everybody knows what's happening in Delhi. Air quality has turned into, and it's so bad that schools had to be shut because kids were getting sick after inhaling air. People were wearing masks at home, and it had gone to 600. I remember people were wearing masks at home, and Supreme Court made a verdict that a lot of people say it's the farmers burning their stubble in the nearby region of Delhi that's causing this, but Supreme Court said that that's not true. That's like the least contributor to air pollution in Delhi. And this didn't just happen in Delhi. It happened nationwide, and it was all happening despite cracker bans in some states. There was not a cracker ban in Maharashtra, but there were cracker bans in other states, and for crackers were still being burned because it was all in the name of practicing Hinduism, and it was in the name of not letting law, uh, you know, let them be
Restrict.
any more so Hindu. Yeah. And then there's also this great argument about green crackers. But Laveen, do you want to like say something first, or should I like go?
Um, yeah, definitely. When just because you brought up this idea of cracker ban, and because of the nature of the podcast, I need to bring in this whole idea of how these respiratory problems that you mentioned before are caused by people who can afford to an extent to treat them as well. All right. And there's a whole nation and which has a good amount of population below poverty line that's going to be suffering from issues, respiratory issues, for things that they couldn't even afford. So there's going to be a whole, that's like a whole conversation to have as well, right? But this is an episode where we're going to just touch upon most of these topics, right? And
Yeah.
the second thing, and maybe that is something our listeners should ponder upon, but the second thing that I really wanted to talk about was how you, when you mentioned the whole cracker ban thing, and when you look up when you just look up the firecracker industry in India, right, you'll find these amazing articles, and I'm genuinely saying they're amazing articles about the revenue of the cracker industry. So two facts that we really need to note is, number one is that the cracker industry of India export any does not export any production. All right, it's all for India. And in 2020, the total revenue was around 30 crore rupees. All right, and this year it's 15,000 crore rupees, 1,500 crore rupees. All right, 1,500 crore rupees basically. So which is like a considerable decrease in revenue. All right, and you will find these amazing articles which are sort of promoting the agenda against cracker ban, because they're talking about how it hampers the economic uh, or like it basically hampers the GDP of India. All right, and this is because there is this district in Tamil Nadu called Shivkasi, which is like the cracker hub in India. All right, and most of their revenue is generated because, and most of their economic functions are dependent on the firecracker industry, which is greatly hampered because firecrackers ban ho gaya and all of those things, right? um and because of the production that has been lowered, because nobody's buying, I mean a majority of people are not buying crackers during Diwali or during festivals, which again, in the whole outlook of it, considering the big population of India, makes no sense. All right, there are still a significant number of people who are buying it. Don't yawn.
Not yawning. I can't feel my this thing. I'm just trying to inhale.
Okay. Um, so yeah, like I said, considering the population, it doesn't make, I mean, it makes in numbers, it's a difference, but in the pollution aspect, it's not making a difference. All right. So these are two very major facts that we need to notice, and how the media that we consume is sort of strategically promoting one perspective, because a lot of art, like I said, when I searched up animals and the valley, or like dogs and the valley specifically, and when I'm again looking up the firecracker industry, I'm finding articles which are very specifically showing the brighter part of it, or like, you know, the more uh convenient, or the more um you know, the part of it that would be more I can't get the right word, like acceptable and all of that, instead of showing the actual bad face of it.
Feel
All right.
favorable.
Yeah, favorable, thank you. Like the thing that would be favorable by masses. So that is one thing that you need to be very careful of when you are consuming. And again, that's like a whole conversation about media literacy, and you know how that is again a privilege. But well, it is what it is. I just wanted to bring to light the two facts that are very important to understand, and a subtext to it. So yeah, I think you should go back to green crackers, which was something you were starting to mention.
Yeah. So the thing is that the pollution thing has been something that we're familiar with like ever since we were kids. I think that I established that. So what people have done, like what not just I think the market, what market has done is like they've realized, oh, people are not people are saying that crackers are causing pollution. I think this is like, let's say 3-4 years back, they're seeing that they realize that crackers are causing pollution. There's like a lot of heat that they're getting from special interest groups, from activists, from some people in the parliament as well. And they realize what they want to do is that there's like a space for a new product that lets people enjoy bursting crackers, except it doesn't. I mean, it claims to be eco-friendly, so it won't harm the environment, and they're called green crackers. Okay. Uh, the thing is, anytime. I mean, this is just like a personal thing that I have very iffy about. Anytime anything has like green in front of it, you automatically know it's not green. Like, don't it's not going to be called green crackers. Like, there's no way that it can be even sold if it's called green crackers and if it's genuinely green, because then the expenses in creating a green cracker is too much. So basically what happens with green crackers, this is what I have like learned from people who use green crackers and from the internet as well. It's basically it's supposed to cause less pollution emission. It's not supposed to just stop pollution emission. It will cause less pollution emission. It will cause less emission of pollutants that are the most harmful to the environment, which is something like barium and all of that, which causes the smoke in the environment. And it does not have light, apparently. It does not give out light. So when you burst it, it doesn't disperse really. It just makes like a big sound. That's like what it does. And when I looked up like figures of how less polluting is it really, and you would expect for something called green crackers to be at least a little more than 50% less polluting, right? It's called green crackers. It's like it shouldn't be called green crackers. If it yeah,
Definitely agree.
yeah. Guess the percentage, and this is a direct quote from a manufacturer, okay? Uh, who in Tamil Nadu, from an article, and he said that they're 30% less polluting compared to like normal firecracker. So basically, there's still smoke being emitted out. People are still, but that's what the crazy thing about this is, like even if it's causing less polluting, it's still polluting. It's still 70% polluting, and we're at. I think it's well known that we're into the stage when it comes to climate change and environment. That's sort of like you make the wrong move, and it's literally irreversible. And I don't think people still understand what it's really about. Uh, they want to live their life, but I think they don't realize that 1 year is not living their life. You've got to live at least for 20, 30 years, and what you're doing, I'm sure you can afford to recover from it. But honestly, like how bad healthcare really is right now and what's being prioritized, which is COVID over like other diseases, I would hardly think that if you suffered the brunt of it, and this is for people who do burst crackers, green or non-green, if you still burst crackers, but even after like learning all of this and you still burn crackers and you still think it's not going to affect you, it will. Because like I said, your life is not, you're not just alive for 1 year, you're going to be alive for 20, 30 years further. Now, if I had any choice in it, of course, things would be different. But you're going to be alive for 20, 30 years. Everybody was bursting crackers and healthcare priorities towards COVID. Okay. Even though a lot of people like to claim it's endemic, it's still a pandemic. It's still getting bad in the West. It's still getting bad in Europe. So it's not going to die down anytime soon. So, just think, do you want to die? Wheezing and heaving, like that's how you want to die at 30? Sure, go ahead. Don't take
Yeah.
me with it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that's the point of every 2020 onward, 2000 kid, every 2000 kid is making,
Yeah,
that
every
you want to
YTK kid
die,
is like,
good for you. Go ahead, go kill
yeah,
yourself. We don't mind, but just don't take us along with it. As much as we might crack dark jokes, and as much as we might say that, hey, you know what, that is fun. At the end of it, we want to die by our own choice. We
yeah,
choose our poison. All
yeah,
right, don't take us, like she
we're
said,
control
often we think,
freaks, okay? We're control freaks. You cannot make us die. We
yeah,
will control our own death.
we'll die when we want to die.
Yeah,
Um, but again, this also brings in a very, very clear privilege factor as to not just who can afford to burn crackers, but who can afford to be treated for respiratory diseases and who can afford to get themselves enrolled in a hospital which will treat them, all right? And who can afford, uh, cons- can you hear me?
you started lagging.
Okay. Yeah, who can afford all of this, right? Even though, um, considering that, even though healthcare in India is basically cheaper and it's, you have public healthcare available as well. But to what extent can that be used to try to reverse severe diseases, right? To what extent can we bank on that? And to what extent can we assume at the rate of inflation currently, uh, that we will be able to afford it 20, 30 years down the line? And forget, if you are 50 and you're thinking, "मैं 80 तक नहीं जीने वाली हूँ," I don't care at this point. I doubt a 50-year-old is listening to our podcast. But
Yeah,
if you have a grandfather thinking like that, I mean, it's not going to make sense, right? Maybe, like, let's say my 40-year-olds, and if they're thinking 70 tak to nahi jeene wale, I don't care, man. Just fine. You are bound to die at 70. I don't care about that. The thing is that I'm not going to be 70 at that point. I'm just going to be at a place where I'm hustling, and I want to hustle without wearing a mask and without coughing every 2 seconds. All right. So maybe think about that. And everybody brings in this think about your future generation argument, and I think we have to do that, because unless and until you think about you are conditioned to think about a legacy, nobody is actually thinking about them. And with that, another thing that we had to talk about, considering we are on the privilege tangent, is the kind of employment in the firecracker industries. I think this is like the right time to cover it as well, considering we are already talking about privilege in this sense. Because, like I said, um, all of these, like I said, all of these industries are suffering a revenue loss and all of that because of the ban and because of the decrease in demand, and all of those things. But let me just quote something that I read. As per the law, an employer must pay a sum of rupees 20,000 as compensation for every child employed in contravention of the provisions of this act. So it's basically this act that, it's against child labor and all of that. And it um also prohibits uh, occupations such as, uh, firecracker industries, match industries, and all of that from employing children under 14, and all of those things are going on, right? But the nature of the beast is such that these industries require the soft hands of children. That sounds so wrong, but they require the soft hands of children to work in order to manufacture firecrackers, in order to manufacture matches and all of those, which definitely is hazardous in nature. But it is what it is. And not just children are being employed, but being paid really less. So every time you buy a firecracker, it's almost like you are paying money to get a child employed in an hazardous industry, moreover. All right. And as much as we might say that no, child labor is banned and how can you do this and all that, there are loopholes that people get away with. Forget loopholes, it's straight up illegal work and people get away with it. And the only way, and in a very economic sense, the only way to cut down supply is by decreasing demand. And who is at the end of the demand is us. If we stop demanding for things like that, the supply is going to, like, the equilibrium will not be met, supply will fall down. It's simple math, all right. If you're not going to ask for something, you're not going to get it. It's as simple as that. You're not going to find people manufacturing motors anymore. It's because manufacturing of mixer grinders has gone up because that's what the demand is. Very weird example, but understand. And even when you're talking about green crackers, I feel like the initiative makes sense and you should give credit to it, but it's not the solution. The solution is end it. You cannot take an alternative or a substitute as a solution. You can't say chai nahi mil rahi hai, to coffee milegi, and like, chai industry khatam ho rahi hai. That's not how it works, all right? It's an alternative, it's not the solution. And that is something that we need to think about. And I think that is the major part of today. Shimangi, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, I would just like to clarify. We're not saying don't celebrate Diwali. Okay, Diwali rocks. This year I like fell in love with Diwali. Despite doing puja and everything, I fell in love with it. Only part I despise about Diwali is how difficult it is to breathe during Diwali. It's very difficult to breathe during Diwali. And we're just saying, 2021 is the year. I mean, like 2020 year onwards, it's a year of having new normals, right? Can't we just make a cracker-free Diwali the new normal?
It's
It's as
it's
simple as that.
it's also the year of realizing how unpredictable life is and how mortal we are. I don't think anybody has understood the concept of mortality better than they would have in 2020. And I
Yeah,
don't think there's a single person who's not understood the concept of mortality in 2020.
yeah. Who has not understood how fickle really being alive really is? Could literally
Exactly.
just die. Having great health, and you could just die because you didn't have access to great health care. And we like to say everybody is privileged, but even the level of privilege people have access to is different. You can afford to buy crackers, like Lavleen said very eloquently, that you can afford to buy crackers, but can you afford healthcare for every kind of thing that for all the repercussions that you're, basically putting on yourself. So I just think that, I think like after researching about all of this and just exchanging, what we found out, I wonder if Diwali really is like, a festival anymore. It celebrates goodness and it literally celebrates victory of good over evil, right? Is it really a festival about that anymore? Or is it like just a vehicle for spreading hatred for each other? Like, and I don't know if good or evil is what Diwali is, Dashera. I don't know about that. But yeah, Diwali is a festival, right? That celebrates happiness and Ram coming home and whatnot. So like it's a festival that's supposed to be about happiness and color and no, that's holy and light. It's supposed
Okay,
to be
Shivangi is just mixing up all festivals together.
yeah.
The
You
basic
realize
point
that
is,
difficult it is to be a Hindu?
yeah,
Oh my God.
Diwali is just this festival of happiness and joy and lights and everything that light sort of symbolizes for. That's hope, a new future, and I mean, ironically, a new future. Hmm. But all of that, and it's just questionable at this point as to what Diwali really stands for.
Yeah. So with that, we like to call it a day for today's episode. Thank you for listening to Privilege Podcast. If you like this episode, then please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's again Privilege Check Podcast. And Do not forget to follow us on our socials. That's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter at Privilege Check. That's PRIVILEGECHK. Here's to an enlightened life.